Well, oh there. It's a little time for a little news. Not much has been going on, so that's why I haven't been around much. I apologize for that. My garden's doing really well. Got a whole bunch of lilies and irises right now that are blooming, so most of them are yellow though. But we chose colors in hopes of attracting bees and butterflies and hummingbirds and such. So, not a lot of variety, but that's okay. Anyway, pretty soon we should, have some ranunculus and maybe some dahlias eventually. If either of them come up and they look real good, I'll send you some pictures of them. Back at the beginning of May, I was supposed to have my final follow-up visit with orthopedics, but they have been rescheduling. It got moved from the 2nd of May to the 6th, then to the 14th, then to the 20th, and now it's been moved to the 24th of June. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it might be that they've been hit with the COVID. Yeah, it's kind of odd. Nobody around here masks up, but we're having 100 cases a day. So that's just lovely. Which reminds me, I've recently had some health scare with blood pressure and heart rate and all of that just going up through the roof. So after thinking about it for a while, I decided, maybe 2-3 pots of coffee a day just doesn't work any longer when you're old as I am. So I cut back on caffeine. I haven't had a cup of coffee in like 2 weeks now. I didn't realize you could have caffeine withdrawal, but you can, and the headaches were just monstrous. But I'm feeling much better now. So at any rate, this next week I'm going to start looking in earnest for a new bike. After much consideration, it's going to be hard to do, but finally, after all these years, I am not going to buy a Kawasaki. Rather, I'm going to look for a Suzuki SV65. It's a smaller bike. It weighs less. It doesn't have as much power, but the Z900 had way more power than I was ever going to use, and a 650 is good enough, big enough to get me where I want to go as fast as I need to get there. And plus the Suzuki, the 650 is dead on reliable. It's an engine that's been around for a very long time. They've worked carefully on it, and there's hardly ever any problems with them at all, which is great when there's only, one independent bike shop around here that's even willing to talk to me. The 650 has a lower seat height than the Z900, and I was kind of uncomfortable with the Z900 being a short person and having to, not be able to put my feet down flat. So there we are. It's going to be something new for me, and the 650 is also a V-twin. I've never bought or owned a V-twin. I rode a Harley Panhead for a while. That was a pain in the butt. Anyway, I never bought one or owned one. In the meantime, I have made a discovery to share with you on the TV. First, there's a semi-science fiction-y series called Night Sky that's really kind of cool. It's about an older couple who have found a portal to parts unknown deep under their house. It's kind of a standard, we have a portal to other planets kind of story, but because it's an older couple who are trying to deal with end-of-life issues, makes it kind of interesting. You might want to check that out and let me know what you think about that. Along with which, on the Roku device, I have found a couple of really neato places. First, there's Meditv, Medici.tv. This is a wide range of concerts, recitals, opera, ballet that you can choose from. It's really very good. It makes me happy, and now I can listen to current performances of important works and sometimes some obscure stuff. The other Roku channel on Roku channel is Vivaldi. This is it's recorded stuff, but like most TV channels, it's you get what they are playing right now. That's not all that bad because the concerts are pretty darn good, and there's quite often stuff that's done with original instruments or period-based instruments, so they're really nice. Suggest you check them out and let me know what you think. Maybe if you know of a good music channel somewhere to listen to. And finally, we've talked about science fiction off and on for a while about different things. I'm not sure exactly what your tastes are. At any rate, there is an author named Martha Wells who has written what's known as the Murderbot series. There are 6 novels out now, and I think she's planning on 2 more to come. It's a very interesting series. The first book is titled All Systems Red. These are stories about a security android who has managed to slip the confines of his programming, has become self-aware, and is on his own little journey trying to figure out who and what the heck it is. The interesting thing with this series, not only because the writing is good and because this android is just as snarky as you can get, doesn't care too much for humans, doesn't think very highly of them at all, which is odd because his favorite form of entertainment is to watch soap operas. I'm not quite wrapped my head around that one. But at any rate, this is not your usual android as Pinocchio kind of character. Like Data in Star Trek is on this never-ending search to become more human. This android really does not want to be human and really doesn't like being around humans, just thinks of them as a kind of necessary evil in order to, work his way through life and make a living and all of that stuff. He has to put up with us. So it's really interesting listening to the inner monologue of this android as it goes through life. There's some violence in it because he is, after all, a security bot, and he's hired by different companies to protect humans from, aliens and other bots and murderous corporations and global conspiracies and all that other stuff. So check out Martha Wells's Murderbot series. Give it a read and let me know what you think. We can compare some notes. I really like the series. And I would get off into the world of conspiracies now, but we've got the January 6th hearings going on, and that's replete with enough conspiracies for anybody. Speaking of which, in a recent class, I had a student who was full-on conspiracy nut. The Earth is flat. The moon is hollow. The hollow moon is occupied by Nazis. NASA is a disinformation campaign that's been, going on for thousands of years, and COVID is an attempt to turn us all into androids by slipping microchips into us, and just every kind of crazy weirdness you can think of. The weird part here, it was the logic class. Needless to say, he did not do too well. He dropped out in the 3rd week of the class because the guy could not think in a straight line and absolutely refused to. Oh, well, speaking of which, the current logic class, though, is a whole bunch different. The majority of the students in this class are Air Force, active duty, reserve, retired, or dependents, and they are just going at it gangbusters. They're really doing very, very well. It's one of the best classes I've had in a while, and it sure does feel good. So at any rate, let me close this off by saying, yeah, I'm in the bike search. There are a couple of places close by that say they will have a Suzuki SV65 within the next few weeks. As soon as I get close to the final visit with orthopedics, I'll get into that search, and as soon as I have something definite on that, I will let you know. And I know you can't hear this, but all of the cats decided to come in and help. What fun. Okay, that's it for now. I will talk at you later. Bye-bye.